सारा भुवन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है। मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है। धड़कन की तारे उससे जुड़ी है। राहों में अपलक निगाहें गड़ी है। धड़कन की तारे उससे जुड़ी है। राहों में अपलक निगाहें गड़ी है। घड़ी ये बड़ी दे रही सुख सघन है। घड़ी ये बड़ी दे रही सुख सघन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है। मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है। युगों से जिसे हमने सर्वत्र ढूंढा, जन्मों जन्म जिसको जी भर के पूजा। युगों से जिसे हमने सर्वत्र ढूंढा, जन्मों जन्म जिसको जी भर के पूजा। ना कोई दूजा मेरा प्राण धन है। दृष्टि से सृष्टि सजने लगी है। वरदानों की वृष्टि होने लगी है। दृष्टि से सृष्टि सजने लगी है। वरदानों की वृष्टि होने लगी है। महका चमन चहका हर अंजुमन है। महका चमन चहका हर अंजुमन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है। मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है। पुलकित पवन है ये कुंजित गगन है। प्रभु की प्रतीक्षा में सारा
Just mute the sound. The sound. The sound. The speaker. Yes, yeah, that's funny. That's Om Shanti, good morning. The drama keeps giving us new things to learn. But today we really have a beautiful Murli, and Baba is showing us the easiness of this knowledge. Whenever we think about Raj Yoga, we think about it's a study, and it's a university. And how many subjects in our university? 4. Only 4 subjects, right? And imagine one of the subjects is knowledge itself. Does that make sense? Because the whole idea of study is knowledge, isn't it? But it's very nice how Baba is tying this idea that if you have knowledge, if you say you have knowledge, then everything is covered in it. And how there's a connection between each of the subjects itself. But he's also going into the depths that, for example, if you say you are a Raj Yogi, so what does it mean to be a yogi? If you think about it for yourself, what does it mean to be a yogi? I hope not the one sitting like that the whole time. So what's the yogi? The one who remembers God. So yoga, really, the word is to be connected, to have a union. So can I say that if I'm a yogi, I have yoga for 6 hours or 3 hours? It means that there should be a connection continuously. And so Baba is kind of bringing this whole thing up for us to also think about it. If we say that we are yogis, then what is the practice in our lives? Are we also saying, I'm going to have 2 hours of yoga now? So we have a yoga bhatti. And in a nice way, he's saying that 2 hours that you sit is not really yoga, but actually you're using that time to use the power of thought to spread it everywhere. But your connection remains stable anyway, no matter what you're doing. So it's so, like, I think Baba is really shifting our attitude about this knowledge and how it should really be something that we don't go in and go out. Like, for example, on the path of devotion, the difference is that when it's a specific day, then we do something. If it's a specific month, then we observe something. Like, for example, we fast or we stay awake or whatever it is. And Baba's whole idea that it should be a constant practice. So in Brahma Kumaris, we don't really observe a fast. We don't have a fasting month or a fasting day. But the fast in our lives is that we stay away from the vices. Then on Shivratri, people stay awake. We don't stay awake all night, hopefully not, right? And but the idea is that if you want to, you can. But he wants us to be awake the whole time in the awareness of who we are. So this is actually the shift in terms of what is happening, like Diwali, for example. Every lamp should be lit, not only for this 5 days, but actually constantly the lamps of each one of us should be lit so that this world is a world of giving and sharing. There's only virtues and caring taking place. So really, when I was reading the Murli and thinking about it, I thought Baba is really, we know it, but how he kind of ties everything in. And he has a very beautiful way. I think after so many years, you think you can still learn, that you can still find a point to say, yeah, this is workable. And to actually go deeper into the self. Like, I thought, now I really want to go and do this Murli again a few times. When that kind of energy is available, it shows you the power of the teacher, that he can still engage you. And this Murli was spoken in 92. And if these Murlis are repeated every 5 years, can you imagine how many times you've already heard it? And it can still feel that fresh. It can still bring out that kind of power in the soul to want to go into some kind of deeper understanding and realization. So sometimes just listening to the Murli also just creates that enchantment for us of who God is and how He actually is the master teacher, the master psychologist, to really allow us to expand ourselves and bring about the healing that is so required. So today, on the 23rd of October, we're going to revise Baba's Murli of the 13th of October, 1992. And the title of this Murli is, in order to become number one, have knowledge and yoga in your practical life. Today, the true teacher is seeing his godly students, the ones who imbibe his elevated teachings. To what extent has each of you godly students imbibe these godly teachings? The teacher is one, the study is the same, and yet you students are number wise in how you study. The lesson everyone listens to every day in the Murli is the same at every place. That is, the same lesson is studied. The Murli, that is the lesson at every place, is the same. There may be a difference in the date, but the Murli is the same. So why is it still number wise? Why are there numbers? Because the method of studying this godly study is not just to listen to it, but every elevated version has to be in your practical life. All right. Why are there numbers? Because the method of studying this godly study is not just to listen to it, but every elevated version has to be in your practical life. You all listen to the same thing, but it becomes number wise when you're putting it into practice. Everyone has the same aim. I should become number one. You do have this aim. Everyone wants to be number one?
Yes.
Or is the number taken? Brahma Baba has already gone ahead, is it? You do have this aim, do you not? You have the aim of becoming number one, but you become number wise in the result. You have to put the aim into your qualification, but you create a difference between the aim and the qualification in doing so. There aren't many subjects in the study. You simply have to imbibe 4 subjects. So what is difficult about this? All the 4 subjects are related to one another. If you imbibe the one subject of knowledge completely in the right way, that is, if you put every word of knowledge in your practical life, then that knowledge is just of 2 words. They are creator and creation, or alpha and beta. To have the clear understanding of the Father, the Creator, means that the introduction of the Supreme Soul and your relationship with Him becomes clear. The creation means the first creation. I am an elevated soul. And secondly, what is my part as a soul in this unlimited creation? That is, in this unlimited drama throughout the entire cycle. All of you have this knowledge clearly, do you not? However, to be an embodiment of an elevated soul and to play an elevated part at all times, you sometimes remember this and you sometimes forget. You have the knowledge of these two words. Yoga is also based on these two words, is it not? Therefore, yoga is automatically connected to knowledge. Those who are enlightened souls are definitely also yogi souls. And so knowledge and yoga are related, are they not? Therefore, would the dharana, that is the inculcation of those of you who are knowledgeable and yoga, be elevated or weak? It would automatically be elevated, would it not? It would be easy, would it not? Or would there be difficulty in your dharana? Can you, knowledgeable and yogi souls, be weak in your dharana? No. However, some are this. Is it that they do not have knowledge and yoga? They are knowledgeable, but they do not have the stage of being an enlightened soul. They are those who try to have yoga, but they do not have a yogi life. A life is constant and it is natural. To have a yogi life means that the original nature is that of a yogi. The sanskaras of forgetfulness and the weakness of 63 birds have become the original nature of your Brahmin lives, and they sometimes create obstacles in your efforts. Then, no matter how much your attention is drawn, either by yourself or by others to bring about a practical transformation, and even when you know and you understand that that transformation should take place, and you also wish that, what do you still say? I do not want this, but it is my nature. It becomes my natural nature. When their words and interactions are not filled with knowledge, or they are not according to those of a yogi life, what do they say? They say, my words are naturally like that. My tone of speaking is like that. Or they would say, my activity and my behavior are official and serious. You give a very good name. It is not being forceful, but it is official. Baba knows us, eh? Somebody will say, no, I just have a loud voice, no? Just this is the way I was brought up, or, it goes in my family. So Baba is saying we're making excuses for not being yogi. Your natural nature works according to your wishes and understanding. You do not have to make any effort for that. Similarly, every action of those who are knowledgeable and have a yogi life is naturally filled with knowledge and yoga. That is, knowledge and yoga becomes your nature. Then, because of having that nature, they are naturally able to perform elevated action full of wisdom. So, do you understand that nature makes everything natural? So when knowledge and yoga becomes your original nature, it is known as being one who has a knowledgeable and yogi life. All of you are knowledgeable and all of you are yogi. But what is the difference? One category is those who listen to and speak knowledge and put it into their lives according to their capacity. The second category is those who make knowledge and yoga the nature of their life at every moment. All of you are students, but you become number-wise because of this difference. Those who have the nature of being knowledgeable and yogi will naturally have dharana. Their nature and sanskaras will naturally be the embodiment of dharana. They do not have to make repeated effort to imbibe this or that virtue, because they would have made their lives on the basis of knowledge, yoga, and dharana at the time of laying their foundation. This is why these three subjects become the natural and automatic experience of such souls. This is why such souls are called easy yogi souls, easy knowledgeable souls, and souls who are easily embodiments of dharana. So all three subjects have a connection. And those who have such experiences will be full of this treasure. Such images of perfection automatically become master bestowers. A bestower means a server. A bestower cannot stay without giving. By having the sanskaras of bestowers, the subject of service automatically becomes easy for them in a practical way. Therefore, all four are related, are they not? If someone says, I have very good knowledge, but I lack dharana, would you call that one a knowledgeable soul? You have this knowledge, you give this knowledge to others, but it is only because you have it that you can give it. One is to understand, and the other is to have it in your life. All of you are clever in understanding. You are also clever in explaining. If someone asked you a question now about something, guess what? We'll all have the answer, right? It doesn't matter whether I call myself a teacher or not, because we know Baba's knowledge, we can answer it. So this is what Baba is clarifying for us. We just need to now say, okay, we know it. How do I bring it into my life? And we know, no, when somebody says to us, relax, when we're not relaxing, why we get upset? Exactly. So it's really so powerful. This something we need to tell ourselves, because it's not really difficult. It's just that we're not perhaps giving ourselves enough time to let the sort of, when you want to stick something, the surface has to be clean. In the same way, this knowledge can just pass through my intellect, but there isn't the cleanliness for it to get absorbed. And that's actually what needs to happen. One is to understand, and the other is to have a yogi life. All of you are clever in understanding. You are also all clever in explaining. However, if you want to become number one, you must have knowledge and yoga in your life. You will not then be number wise, but number one. So, you were told today that the true teacher was seeing his godly students everywhere. What did he see? Were all of you seen as number one or number wise? What would the result be? Or do you think that only one would be number one, and that you would then come among those who are number wise? You can come into the first division. There is not just one in that. So check if your stage fluctuates again and again due to any situation. That is, if you have to labor in your efforts again and again. It shows that in the main subject of knowledge, you have not put the lesson of two words, creator and creation, into your practical life. You have not put them into your lives in the form of your original nature, your original sanskaras, or in the form of an easy nature. The natural nature and sanskaras of a Brahmin life are to have a yogi and a knowledgeable life. A life means, Father has nice definitions, his own dictionary. Life means Sister Fatima?
I'm not sure.
You're not going to, can't compete with this one. Life means constantly, always. It means that it is your life for, it isn't that it is your life for 8 hours and not for 4 hours after that. That today you were a yogi for 10 hours, or that you became a yogi for 12 hours, or that you become a yogi for 2 hours. Such souls are those who are trying to have yoga. They are not yogis who have a yogi life. You especially sit in a gathering so that you are able to transform with that atmosphere those who are weak effort makers, and all souls of the world with the power of yoga of everyone. Therefore, even that is essential, and you do not sit in yoga just to reconnect your yoga that has been broken. And that's so lovely how Baba is putting it. It's not that now we're going to sit for 2 hours and meditate. That sitting together in a collective is just generating a force of power that's helping the world. But I'm having yoga anyway, so whether I come and sit in the class or whether I'm cooking or whatever it is. Now, as Baba is doing that, it's a checking point for us. What am I doing? Do I wait for these moments to have yoga, or it's become a natural way that I can, whatever I'm doing, I'm going up, I'm connecting. So once somebody asked Daddy Gulzar this question, so Daddy, how often do you experience Baba in Paramdam? And her answer was, I stay there, I come and do something, and I always am there. Now that's a nice way of understanding that my natural positioning is that the soul stays in that form of the seed. It just does its work and go back. So for myself, I think it's something really worth thinking about deeply, that I mustn't fool myself that I'm doing everything and ticking the boxes. But actually, am I really finding that thread of connection through all the things that I do? Therefore, even that is essential. And you do not sit in yoga just to reconnect your yoga that has broken. The collective power of a gathering is for serving. So what if we come here together for? We come to serve. It's also a very beautiful thing. So it's not like I don't need to come to the center, but I'm coming because we come together to serve the world by coming together. So Baba says, the collective power of a gathering is for serving. You do not have to have a yoga bhatti so that you forge your broken connection once again. If you are weak, then you sit for that purpose. But if you are a yogi soul, then as a master almighty authority, as a master world benefactor, you are doing the service of giving cooperation to everyone. To study means to become an embodiment. Acha. Today, Baba has come to celebrate Deepavali. What does it mean to celebrate? What is done at the time of Deepavali? Earthenware lamps are lit. Nowadays, you ignite lights, and who comes to the lights? Moths. What is the speciality of moths? Baba says they sacrifice themselves. So, what does it mean to celebrate Deepavali? So, have you sacrificed yourself, or are you going to sacrifice yourself today? Be careful how you answer this, because the next statement is very interesting. So, what are you going to do? Are you sacrificing yourself, or are you going to sacrifice yourself? Already. Now watch this, Shobha, this is for you. So Baba says, have you sacrificed yourself, or are you still have to sacrifice yourself? So everybody answers, we have sacrificed ourselves. So you have already celebrated Diwali. So why are you celebrating it again? Can't win with this one, hey? Since you have sacrificed yourself, you have already celebrated Deepavali. Or do you still tour around every now and then? You have sacrificed yourself. But you still have your wings, and so you circle around with them a little. So you are not those who circle around, are you? So keep in mind this word that Baba is using, you have kept your wings, because in a personal meeting, he's going to bring this up and you'll see the connection. What does it mean to keep to your wings? To circle around means to come into conflict with the one form of Maya or another. So do you come into conflict with Maya, or do you defeat Maya? Now, in this context of Maya, it's called the illusion. So the conflict with Maya is being deceived. What do you do? Do you sometimes gain victory or sometimes come into conflict? So you celebrate Deep Mala, the rosary of lights. What's our memorial? Our memorials don't only exist in the East, they also exist in the West. So Baba says, you celebrate Deep Mala, the rosary of lights, your own memorial. Which is that? Christmas is also coming. I'm giving you a clue. No. You look so confused. Huh? Rosary of lights. No. Sybil, were you? You know those strings of lights, those 100,000 lights? The electrical little bulbs? Yes. Baba says that's our memorial of the rosary of lights. He says, it is your own memorial, is it not? Or is the memorial of the main souls and you are simply observers? It is the memorial of all of you. That is why nowadays, instead of lighting many earthenware lamps, people light many fairy bulbs. If lamps are ignited, the number would be fewer. However, your population, the number of souls, is very large, is it not? So in remembrance of all of you, many tiny little bulbs are lit. So you are celebrating your own memorial. When you see the lamp, do not think that those are your own, when you see the lamps, do think that those are your own memorial. Do not remember this. Do you remember this? The speciality of the confluence age is that the living lamps see their memorial of the non-living lamps. You are here in the living form and you are seeing the non-living memorial. In fact, the day that you celebrate Deepavali is the real date of Deepavali. This date has just been fixed by the people of the world, but your date is your own. That is why the real date is the date that you Brahmins celebrated. Whom do people ask when they fix any dates? They ask the Brahmin priest. So today Bab Dada is giving greetings of Deep Mala to all the constantly ignited lamps in this land and the foreign lands. Bab Dada is giving congratulations. Congratulations for Deepavali means congratulations for becoming full of all treasures. Acha. To such constantly ignited lamps, the true lamps who are forms of light and who dispel the darkness of others, to those who put all four subjects into their practical life at the same time, to such knowledgeable and yogi souls who put the qualification of the aim of becoming number one in all the subjects in their practical lives, to the souls who are embodiments of divine virtues, to the constant service, the elevated world, benefactor souls, love, remembrance, and namaste from Babdada. Such a long title. Can you remember who you really are? You know, it's amazing what Baba can say to us, no? And if we accepted all of this, how would we feel? If somebody just said to you, "Oh, you're so sweet," we think, "Oh, that's so nice." Someone says, "I'm sweet." Look at what God is saying. It's amazing, isn't it? So that's why the Murli is so powerful in a sense. It just brings this clarity of who it is. And this is God who wants nothing from us, no agenda at all. Then there's a personal meeting with groups. Fortunate are those in whose faces and behavior you can constantly see the sparkle of happiness. Do all of you consider yourselves to be souls who constantly have the fortune of happiness? Come on, you can at least shake your head. Baba says, do all of you consider yourselves to be souls who constantly have the fortune of happiness?
Yes.
Good stuff. Carol?
You can see it now, please.
No, she got a mask. I can't see her. I can't even see her eyes. What would be the sign of those souls who have the fortune of happiness? Because you have the fortune, you have to have the answer. The sparkle of happiness, not just happiness, would be constantly visible in their faces and their behavior. So if you're dragging yourself around, there's a problem there. No matter what physical act they do, even if it is an ordinary act, the sparkle of happiness will be visible whilst they transform their task. So today when we're cleaning the grain, let's see the sparkle of happiness. This is known as the mind dancing in constant happiness. Are you constantly like this?
Yes. Yes.
Just checking. Baba saying, this is known as the mind dancing in constant happiness. Actually, you know, when Baba does this, it's very beautiful, actually. Because Baba is creating a little bit of space for us to reflect in a very safe environment. Because somebody will ask us, we may feel a bit challenged, right? But this gap that Baba creates when he asks a question, it's like a little open space he allows us to enter inside our heart and really ask the question. So sometimes we take time to check our chart. But you know, the Murli is an absolute powerful time to do that as well. You know, the surgeon is waiting to allow us to really expose what's happening to us. And if it's in his presence, then whatever we need gets filled in as well. But if you sit here thinking, oh, I know this, I heard this, then it can't do the work. But if we sit there really with that sincerity, the work gets done already. We don't have to go after Murli and do the work. In this moment, actually the work is happening. It's like the shower we take, no? As the water falls on us, we're getting cleaned. So this is also the shower of knowledge. As we sit here, this sitting in front of Baba is very powerful, actually. So he says, this is known as the mind dancing in constant happiness. Are you constantly like this? Or do you sometimes stay very happy and at other times a little less? The treasure of happiness has become your own treasure. So your own treasure would be constantly with you, would it not? Or would it only be with you sometimes? Have you made the Father's treasure your own treasures, or do you forget that they are your treasures? You always remember your physical treasures, or do you forget that they are your treasures? You always remember your physical belongings, do you not? Those treasures are visible with the eyes, but this treasure is not visible with your eyes. You experience it in your heart. So can you forget anything that you have experienced? Constantly be aware that you are a master of the treasures of happiness. The more you remember your treasure, the more intoxication you will experience. So this spiritual intoxication will give others the experience that you have something valuable. What do you mothers remember all the time? Do you just remember the father, or do you also remember something else too? Fatima, don't give it away. The happiness of the inheritance would be visible, would it not? Since the whole world of a Brahmin is the father, what else would you remember? Except the world. Constantly continue to sing the songs of your elevated fortune in your hearts. Would you be able to attain such an elevated fortune throughout the whole cycle? So, out of the whole cycle, what are you able to attain at this time? You know, in a way, this line is so powerful because wherever there's attainment, that's where the intellect goes. Am I completely sure that I am taking only from Baba? Because if I am taking something from somewhere else, then the intellect will go there automatically, because it's where the attainment of experience is. So this is where the checking point comes in. The happiness and intoxication of the present time is the most elevated of all. So do your mothers remember any other relatives? I don't know if it's only speaking to the mothers. Is there fluctuation in any of your relationships? Do you feel that attachment there? Has all your attachment finished? Not this question again, eh? Can't you change the question? Baba says, so do you feel that attachment there? Has all your attachment finished? Those who say, no matter what happens, I will not have any attachment, raise your hands. Baba, they're not raising their hands. Takes a lot of courage, you know. Okay, can a test paper of attachment come to you? He's checking first with us. He doesn't want to disappoint us. This father is very benevolent. You Pandavas are conquerors of attachment. Yes. See, now Pandavas are all looking at their book now. Pandavas, are you all conquerors of attachment? Are you not? If there is any fluctuation in your interaction with others, you are then, if there is any fluctuation in your interaction with others, are you then conquerors of attachment? Even now, Maya gives you a paper every now and then. Do you pass it? Or do you become a little slack when Maya comes? So Continually sing songs of happiness. Do you understand? No matter what you lose, your happiness should not diminish. No matter in what form Maya comes, your happiness should not diminish. Only those who remain constantly happy to this extent have the fortune of happiness. Acha. So it starts off very easy, and then he sort of raises the bar. And so this last line, only those who remain constantly happy to this extent have the fortune of happiness. That means everything can go, anyone can say what they want to, but this soul does not get influenced. That's what Baba wants from us. Acha. Now, what wonder do those from Andhra and Karnataka have to perform? No soul should remain deprived. You have to give the message to each and every soul. Wherever you may be staying, all souls should receive the message. The more you give the message, the more your happiness will increase. So Baba's given us also a lovely task here. And so Baba is also giving us that encouragement. Acha. Blessing, may you be courageous and constantly experience the flying stage with your wings of zeal and enthusiasm. In order to experience the flying stage, you need courage and the wings of zeal and enthusiasm. To achieve success in any work, the wings of zeal and enthusiasm are absolutely essential. If you don't have zeal and enthusiasm, you won't achieve success in your work. Because when there is no zeal and enthusiasm, there is tiredness. And those who are tired cannot achieve success. Therefore, be courageous and continue to fly with zeal and enthusiasm, and you will reach your destination. So, tiredness is not the physical tiredness Baba is talking about, but never to have this feeling, I give up on this one, or I give up in this situation. To have that absolute feeling and faith to just continue. And that's really the enthusiasm Baba wants from us. Slogan, to give and receive blessings is elevated effort. To give and receive blessings is elevated effort. Om Shanti. So I'll just share a little practice I saw happen in the center. So if something is happening, like we're having lunch, and then we don't want to get up, and then we go 1, 2, 3, and then we get up. So how did 1, 2, and 3 change consciousness? Because before that, we didn't want to get up from the table, right? We just wanted to remain seated. And how did 1, 2, 3 suddenly change? This is the power. So with anything, you know, if there's a little feeling, oh, this, you know, I don't want to go back there, just count 1, 2, 3 and you'll see. Because what's happening is that an old feeling is coming. And the power of zeal and enthusiasm is to create a reset button. If you carry on in the same line, then that's going to take you there. So you know that saying that goes, if you always do what you always done, you only get what you always got. That's exactly what it is. So we need to have this habit of making sure that when an old pattern comes, we have to restart with the new consciousness. And so there's 1, 2, 3 saying, we're starting all over again. take one, take two, take three. And it's really beautiful. So it is little yuktis, but it is practical. And in a way, Baba, by every day giving us the same message, he's saying 1, 2, 3 again. Because he knew yesterday I told them, but maybe they went this way, that way. Too much shopping, too much eating, too much sleeping, and everything's out of the window. So the reset. So Murli is also like that. It's a reset button for us every morning. And if we do that, then we can give ourselves the power to overcome old patterns. Because it's the old patterns that just, it's easy to go with the flow, to go against the waves where the challenge comes in. So really powerful. To give and receive blessings is your elevated effort. Shanti. So let's have just a few moments of silence, and then we can chat a little bit more about Baba's gifts for us today. Shanti. So, this is yesterday when we had this interfaith program, it was so beautiful to see that whether it was a Jewish faith or within the Islamic faith as well, this period is a time for newness, like a new year. And this period of Diwali, this 5 days, there's a lot of things that happens. And before we celebrate Diwali, the whole idea is to cleaning up the whole house, and everything gets moved around. And then only preparation of new things starts happening. And then the celebration happens. And in a way, today's Murli was a little bit of a way in which Baba was showing us how we need to clear up. When we come to Baba, we think we're coming to learn. So we acquire knowledge. But actually, that's not Baba's motive. He actually brings back memory to us. He's telling us, children, you are this. We lived in that world of perfect harmony. That world was where so he brings back memory. He's not coming to tell us, listen here, you know nothing. I'm telling you what you need to learn, and I'm sorting you out. He's not that. So even for me, if I'm listening to Baba and my attitude is, oh, I have to do this and I must learn this and I must start doing this, I'm not going to succeed on the path. The time that we spend in quiet and silence is helping us to actually give space to allow the reawakening of what already exists. And that's really like, even for spring, no? Before we put those seeds in, we dig up the old soil and we put some, incorporate, and then we add in the seed. For our body, physical body as well, to really be healthy. So many times we do detox and cleansings and all of it, because then whatever we eat can be digested into the system. We just keep adding more to it, nothing is going to happen. So that whole system of even realizing, what am I holding on to? And this is something only we can do. Baba in many ways will create little bit of opportunity for us, little trigger points, like for us to think about what we're holding on to. But it's really up to us to then see what it is and then release it. So, the other day, Baba was also saying, when you look at something, when you really understand your Maya, your areas of getting distracted and deceived, then at least you can keep yourself alert before it gets hold of you again. So this path is easy, but I need to have the courage to look at what is in the way, which I've perhaps created a little bit of what they call a blind spot, which it's a little bit too much to look at, so I don't turn around. Maybe I got a neck pain, I don't want to look around. Whatever the reason is, I'm holding back, I'm holding on to it. So sometimes where the pain is, don't cause yourself pain, but examine where that pain is coming from. So like, for example, if somebody keeps telling you, oh, you know what, you should do this thing differently, and if that irritates you, then you have to check why, when that one says that becomes an irritation. You could blame and say, oh, that one's critical all the time. Sure, that's them being critical, but why is their nature troubling you? So these are all the little stuff we need to realize, that if what others do, it is their thing, but if what they do creates discomfort for me, then I need to check that as well. So there is this unlimited university, because today he says the teacher has come. And so obviously he is helping us. And what does the teacher do? The teacher has the power to allow us to emerge such strength in us, so it touches that threshold of wisdom, so that we can allow the wisdom from inside to come. The teacher doesn't add to us, it's the facilitator to allow our own goodness to emerge. So if we become our own teacher, we use what is here to actually allow the best of me to emerge. When you squeeze that orange, what comes out?
Juice.
Nice, fresh orange juice, isn't it?
Mm.
When they squeeze you, what comes out of you?
Scream.
If somebody squeezes you and presses your buttons, what comes out? Loud. Then we're on the right track. But if the other things are coming out, oh, we know what's happening. So it means the storage inside of us is not all clean. That's what we need to remove. It's really something. If you do a detox, there's one detox that Brother Mirko taught us, no? It was Epsom salt and olive oil and this grapefruit thing. Oh God, most people say, oh, that's too vicious. You can't do that detox. It's because there's things stuck there that it's all coming out. When you do a detox and not much comes out, it means the system is getting clean, isn't it? We all know when our drains get clogged, what happens? The amount of garbage comes out according to how much is stuck in there, no? So we have to take a little reality check and not make excuses. Like Baba was saying today, oh, it's my nature, I'm just too serious. That original nature of the soul, nothing like serious is one of the virtues, no? It's only peace, purity, love, happiness, joy, wisdom, and power. So those are our checking points. What is coming out of me when I'm getting pressurized? I'm getting put in a little corner. I'm getting sandwiched. What spills out when the 2 slices of bread comes from either side? If I'm cheese, then cheese will come out. If I'm butter, butter will come out. But we know other things come out too, no? So we need to check and see. And it's my responsibility. What I want must come out. So in a way, Baba is really powerful in allowing us to remind ourselves and recollect. You know, when he says you are God's children, we know who God's children are. So are we the living God's children or just entitled? So whether it's knowledgeable, yogi, the ones who are full of dharana, or the service, all of those 4 subjects are connected to the first subject, that do I know who I am? As soon as that quality, that bit of knowledge is clear and it's part of me, then I'll be able to connect with Baba, I'll be able to behave, and I'll be able to share. And all 4 subjects are covered with 1 point of knowledge. So if every jewel of knowledge is well imbibed in me, then all the subjects become balanced. And you know, in our study, we can't say, let me get all the knowledge, then I'll have all the yoga, and then I'll practice everything, and then I'll give everyone. Anyone tried that out? Doesn't work. So it's as I understand, I use that to connect with Baba, I practice that in my life, and then I share that. And the 4 subjects sort of balance themselves out as we move along, and that becomes stronger and stronger. So in a way, it is an easy life. But there's a lot of things like memories, old patterns, old ways that may have served us in the past. It brought us that zeal and enthusiasm. And so we thought that was right. But it's like we need to check, if nothing is there, can I still be that enthusiastic? If I got nothing to do, I can't do anything, can I still be on top of the world? And those are going to be our challenges, actually. So be your old good friend. Check it all out. And you got your friend with you. Baba is there with us all the time. At least now he's not Dharam Raj. He's our sweet Baba. He's not going to take the stick out on us. So use Baba at this time in those relationships and enjoy the conference stage. Okay, Usha. So I'm sure, sister, we have some announcements. We have yoga. Zoom, are you going to have one meditation song for us, please?
Yes, I can do that for you. Om Shanti.
The Zoom is. Okay, so hello from everyone in Cape Town.
Let's wait till morning. Let's see how it feels. Let's watch the sun come up over the fields. Let's in silence together, alone. Let's wait till morning, and then we'll go home. You're here The night is over, and so is the fear. The veil has lifted, illusion has died. The voice of the angel is calling tonight. I see the dawn and I'm ready to leave. I'll walk down that road, no, I'll be free. The play is over, and the battle is won. It's time for a morning. It's time to go home.
Have a good day. Give everyone a little bit of tissue. Okay, goodbye everyone. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Ben. See you in 2 days' time.